Crestwood was quiet that Tuesday night, the kind of stillness that makes you believe nothing bad could ever happen here. The streetlights cast gentle pools of light on empty sidewalks, and most families were winding down, safe inside their homes. Until a scream shattered the calm, echoing through the neighborhood and breaking the illusion of safety in an instant. Manuela Miller, a beloved teacher known for her kindness and warmth, was found dead in her home. The scene inside was chaotic and violent, a stark contrast to the peaceful life she had built. Her family discovered her, and in that moment their lives were instantly upended. The shock and horror on their faces would haunt them for years to come. At the police station, each family member was questioned separately, their voices trembling as they recounted the night's events. The air was thick with suspicion and fear. David, Manuela's husband, claimed he was at his weekly poker game with friends. The police checked his alibi, and it held up. He hadn't left the table all night. Sarah, her daughter, was at the library, studying late for exams. She had time-stamped texts and security footage to prove it, her anxiety clear even in her messages. Mark, Manuela's brother, had dinner with the family and left at 8. A gas receipt from a nearby station confirmed his story, and security cameras showed him filling up his car. The detectives pressed for inconsistencies, searching for cracks in their stories. But the family's grief was raw and genuine, their accounts unwavering and heartbreakingly consistent. With no clear suspect among the family, the investigation had to look beyond the people closest to Manuela. The case was growing more complex by the hour. If not them, then who? The question loomed chilling and urgent, as the possibility of a stranger in their midst unsettled the entire town. The Miller family was left in shock, their world forever changed. The home that once echoed with laughter now felt cold and unfamiliar. The police knew the answer lay somewhere in the details, hidden in evidence, buried in memories, or perhaps lurking in the shadows of Crestwood itself. The hunt for the truth had only just begun, and every officer felt the weight of the town's fear and expectation. The town of Crestwood would never be the same. Neighbors locked their doors, whispered theories, and wondered if they were truly safe. A nightmare had begun, and no one knew how it would end. In the darkness, questions multiplied, and the search for answers was only just beginning. The Miller home, once warm and inviting, was now a crime scene. Forensic teams scoured every inch, searching for the killer's trace. A shattered window suggested forced entry. Outside, unfamiliar footprints marked the garden bed. Investigators cast the prints and collected DNA from the scene. Inside, signs of a struggle told a story of desperation. Special lights revealed biological evidence, DNA that didn't match the family. The footprints and DNA were both from someone unknown. The family's alibis were confirmed, they were cleared. Relief for the Millers, but a new fear for Crestwood. The killer was a stranger, still out there. The investigation grew more urgent. The search for answers had only deepened the mystery. With the family cleared, detectives fanned out across the quiet neighborhood, determined to find answers. They moved from door to door, their presence stirring a mix of curiosity and unease among the residents. Each knock brought new stories, new fragments of the night's events. Residents recalled oddities, a stranger seen loitering, a dog barking at something unseen, a fleeting shadow slipping past a window. The air was thick with tension, as if the neighborhood itself was holding its breath, waiting for answers. Mrs. Gable, who rarely missed a thing from her porch, remembered seeing a young man on a bike, moving slowly, almost deliberately, as if searching for something or someone. He seemed to be scanning the street, his movements cautious and measured. He wore a dark hoodie, his face hidden in the shadows, making it impossible to see his features. The way he kept his head down made him even more suspicious. Mr. Henderson, out walking his dog late that night, saw the same figure. The young man was riding a mountain bike with thick tires, lingering in the shadows near the edge of the street, as if waiting for the right moment to act. The descriptions matched: tall, thin, dressed in dark clothes, always with that mountain bike. It was as if he was haunting the neighborhood, always just out of reach. Slowly, the image of a mysterious cyclist began to take shape in the minds of both the police and the residents. He was no longer just a rumor, but a real presence. The police pieced together these sightings, mapping out the cyclist's route and compiling witness sketches. Each detail brought them closer to understanding who this person was. A young man on a bike circling the neighborhood again and again became their lead suspect. He was always there, always watching, but never close enough to catch. The killer was no longer a ghost. He had a form, a pattern, and a presence that could be tracked. The town's whispers, once just background noise, had given the investigation real direction. The community's vigilance was now the detectives' greatest asset. Detectives knew they needed to find this rider before he vanished again. Every moment mattered. Every clue was precious. The hunt had narrowed to a shadow on two wheels, a figure who could slip away at any moment if they weren't careful. The next step was clear: put a name to the face and finally bring the mysterious cyclist out of the shadows. Investigators turned to technology, collecting CCTV footage from around Crestwood. Hours of video revealed a figure in a dark hoodie, riding a mountain bike, just as described. The camera caught a unique chevron tire pattern, matching tracks at the crime scene. The evidence connected the cyclist to Manuela's home. The pieces were falling into place. Detectives cross-referenced local records for anyone fitting the profile. The tire tracks were the key. The ghost on a bicycle was now a suspect with a trail. The net was closing in. The investigation was no longer chasing shadows. Soon, the killer would have a name. The trail led detectives to Crestwood High, a place that seemed ordinary on the surface but now pulsed with hidden tension. This was where Manuela taught, and where the first real clues began to emerge. Colleagues spoke highly of Manuela, describing her as dedicated and compassionate. Yet, beneath the praise, one teacher hesitated, then mentioned a troubled former student, Julius Mullins, whose name seemed to cast a shadow over the staff room. Julius had once dated Sarah, Manuela's daughter. Their relationship had been intense, and when it ended, the breakup was anything but amicable. Rumors of heated arguments and public scenes had circulated among students and teachers alike. Concerned for her daughter's well-being, Manuela had stepped in, trying to shield Sarah from Julius's unpredictable behavior. She worried that his anger might spiral out of control. When detectives pulled Julius's file, they found a pattern of trouble: disciplinary actions, angry outbursts, and a growing resentment toward authority figures, especially Manuela. Julius lived just a few blocks from the school. Neighbors often saw him riding his mountain bike through the neighborhood, sometimes late into the night, always alone. With mounting suspicion, detectives secured a warrant and approached his home, determined to uncover the truth. In the garage, they discovered a mountain bike. The tire treads were caked with fresh mud that looked eerily similar to the tracks found at the scene. In Julius's bedroom, detectives found muddy sneakers. The pattern on the soles matched the prints left in Manuela's garden, tightening the net of suspicion. On his phone, they uncovered a string of threatening texts sent to Manuela, messages filled with anger and veiled threats. The evidence was overwhelming, painting a chilling picture. The mysterious figure seen riding away from the scene finally had a name: Julius Mullins. The pieces were falling into place. With the evidence mounting, detectives knew the case was about to break wide open, and the truth behind the schoolhouse secret would soon be revealed. Julius Mullins was arrested quietly. In the interrogation room, detectives laid out the evidence: footprints, tire tracks, CCTV, and texts. At first, Julius denied everything, but the pressure mounted. His composure cracked. He began to talk. The confession spilled out. He'd circled the house, waited for Manuela to be alone, and broke in. He blamed her for ending his relationship with Sarah. Julius described the confrontation and the violence that followed. His words were chilling, devoid of remorse. The detectives listened in stunned silence. Julius felt justified, not guilty. The confession was complete, a crime born of obsession and rage. The case was closed, but the horror lingered. News of Julius's confession shook Crestwood. Relief turned to shock. Manuela's killer was a local boy she'd tried to help. The town's sense of safety was shattered. Neighbors eyed each other with suspicion. The school mourned. The Miller family faced a new kind of pain. Justice brought no peace, only a deeper loss. Manuela's kindness had cost her life. The story became a cautionary tale. The image of a young man on a bike haunted Crestwood. The town would never forget, a scar that would never fully heal.